to you all. It's just hard to get it out. You want to take that full week of, I mean, 2 times a day messages, twice a day, and then the general superintendent and wow, the youth the youth pastor that came in from, he was from, I think, uh, where's Washington, I think it was, and boy, you you pray that I don't get what he got, okay, and that we get done here quickly, because he was only supposed to speak an hour and he went over an hour and a half probably, but no one complained, because what he was talking about if the church does not change, we don't like it. Okay, when you hear that word change, if the look around, how many kids do we see in our service today? We got what, 3 or 4 teens maybe over in the other, well, 5 today. It's teens, but where's the children? He talked about changing from our mindset of today to intergenerational. Intergenerational. That means we've got to be concerned and be thinking about how we can get children into the house of the Lord. We need to make them not only bringing them into the house of the Lord, but we need them to be a part of the church today. They're not just the church of the future. You've heard that a lot throughout our lives. They're the church of today. We need to get them interact. Do you realize that children, when they become of age and they get to college and whatever, the percentage of them dropping out of church is astronomical? They don't come back into the doors of the church. And this young man done a study throughout the nation trying to determine why. Why are they not coming back to the church? And one of the things they found out is they're not involved in a young age in the church, taking up offering and helping with communion and singing and being a part of the praise team or whatever, the worship songs and so forth and so on, and meeting some of the needs that they need in their lives, and letting them know that we love them enough to let them be a part of the church. Wish you could have heard it. Wish you could have heard the statistics, and somebody had said, I don't remember who it was now. I don't think it was anyone from our church. But when he started off with all those statistics, they sort of got, well, that's not for me. I don't like hearing statistics, and so. But then he got into the meat of what he was saying. Our children are leaving the church. You know what happens when you don't have children in the church? Can somebody tell me what happens 20, 30 years down the road? No church. Do you know that's happened probably just about a church a year on our district for the last 3, 4, 5 years? I seen they had one church closed this past year on our district. That breaks my heart. That breaks my heart tremendously. Church, we've got to change our mindset on how we do ministry. Not how we don't change the gospel. We don't change the message. And in fact, one thing I found out through this is the young people want to hear the truth. They don't want you got to give them the truth. They want the truth. And we put down this generation today. How many times have we say, go get a job, or blah 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 about this generation? But he talked about how all the good qualities of this generation as well. Why is it we always focus on the negative? I'm putting myself there. We always focus on the negative. In church, if we're going to be the loving church that God has called us to be, we've got to start thinking on the positive. Think on these things. Whatever's pure, whatever's lovely, whatever's good report, whatever is good, let that come out of us. Jesus says that what's in the heart comes out of the mouth. Where's our heart today, church? Where are we going today? What do we want to see? What was the question the general superintendent? Where are you now? Where do you want to go? How are you going to get there? He had 3 or 4. It's questions we need to ask ourselves. Where are we today? Where are we wanting to go tomorrow? What are we willing to do to get there? Because it takes a 7-letter word that we do not like to hear in the church, and it begins with S. You know what it is? I hope I got the number right. Sacrifice. You see, Jesus gave his life for the church. Jesus paid it all. All to him I what? Freely give. I owe, yes, Gene, I owe him everything. He deserves my entire life. And I'm talking to Toby today. Maybe more than I'm talking to you today. And this isn't my message. I don't even know. We're probably not going to get to my message because I'll look back here and see the time and I'd say, oh my goodness gracious. I've got close family members. You've heard me talk about Louise Chapman in the book, missionary book, On Assignment for God. Louise Chapman was NMI president. Her husband was a general superintendent years ago. I think she was a missionary. Well, she was a missionary. She's a great woman of God, and she had visions of Christ out in her place, her quiet place. She'd go out and get in this quiet place, and it was where 3 trees had fallen and made a little triangle, and she'd get inside that triangle. And one day she was inside that triangle, and she looks up and she sees a line of people going to the edge of this cliff, and they're just falling off, and the bottom of that pit is the bottomless pit. It's hell. And she's stunned by that because Jesus is standing right there beside those people as they fall off the edge of the cliff, and saying, she says to him, Jesus, aren't you going to save him? Aren't you going to do something? Jesus says, no. That's why I have you. We're his hands. We're his feet. We're his mouthpiece. And one of the things that my message is about today is, let me get to that first point, because it may fit in, and you're not going to hear it today. But the first point here, it talks about if the righteousness of Christians in our world today was more evident, maybe, just maybe, people would be more interested in coming to know the Lord. If our lives matched up to that love that we talked about in Sunday school today, and was I got to be careful here, because in the message I make a point of this. We don't do away with the law. Jesus says, I've not come to abolish the law. So we don't give up the commandments of the Old Testament. Love the father and mother, the 10 Commandments. We don't give that up. But we come to live it out in our lives because our righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees because of the love of Christ that is in us. Jesus came not only to save us, but to empower us to live a holy life, to live a life of 1 Corinthians chapter 13. We cannot live chapter 13 of 1 Corinthians without the love of Christ being in us to the full, to the max, to that higher plane. We cannot live that life. We cannot be kind and courteous and not do something because we want something in return. When somebody does us wrong, we want to get even. But 1 Corinthians tells us that we don't keep notes. We don't hold it. We don't keep account of the things that are done bad to us. We love instead. It is a powerful book, scripture to read once a week, Randy. We got to remember that Paul says, like I said earlier, think on these things. How can we think on these things when all we're doing is taking in all the bad things of the world? All we're hearing is negative on the Facebook and negative on the TV. I don't know about you, but I very seldom listen to the news anymore. I'm serious. I very seldom listen to the news anymore. One thing that was brought out, that as Christians, it's easy to get caught up into the political atmosphere. And I'm not saying we don't do our right in voting and all those things, but we get caught up in the political atmosphere so much so that we begin lashing out at other people instead of loving them. No greater love has this than a man lay down his life for a friend. And that's what Jesus Christ has done for you and me. And you and I need to begin to do that 7-letter word that starts with an S. I don't know if I gave that word to you or not, but I'll give it to you now. Sacrifice. Is it 7? 9? Okay. This 7. There's another one that's got 7. But anyhow, my point is to love the Lord and to reach out to an intergenerational people, a younger generation. One of the stories that was told, I think it was the general superintendent, Dr. Busey. He talked about a trip that his church was going on. And he intentionally, it was a guy in his Sunday school class or something, he intentionally set up this trip to 25 seniors. 25 adult seniors and 25 high school seniors went on this trip together. And he said when they first got on the bus and they started out, the 25 high school seniors was in the rear of the bus. And the 25 adult seniors were in the front of the bus. No interaction. Isn't that what it's like? I'm going to say something right now that might upset some of you, but our young people are going to start being in our worship service more often. We're going to start interacting with our young people to get to know them. I don't mind them being together at certain times, but we are one. I don't know who put it underneath the pulpit, but I brought it back out. Why? Those of you that were here, you know what I'm talking about. 64 crayons in number right? Yeah, I got 64 right. 64 crayons in this box. Each one does a specific thing. But when it's done doing a specific thing, it's to come back together to be one. Crayon. Not a red, not a white, not a black, not a green, not a maroon, but one box of crayons. And that's my vision for the young people in our church. I want to happen in our church what happened on that bus at the end of the trip. I think it was a young girl came up and said to Pastor, at that time, Pastor, what's the general superintendent's? Cut this out. Busey came up to him and said, "How do I talk to these adults? What do I say to them? How do I communicate with them?" And what was the question that she was supposed to ask him? Something about where you lived or went to school, or something simple. How did you guys? Yeah, that's it. The couples. Find a couple, and ask them, how'd you meet? And he said it was funny. This young girl went down and looked at the seats, and well, they don't look like a married couple, and finally she found a married couple and asked them the question, "How did you meet?" And I think the wife of that couple jumped right in there and started telling about it, and she said, "Oh, okay," and she starts leaving. They said, "Well, wait a minute. We've told you about us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you?" And before that trip was over with, church, listen, before that trip was over with, they went to the event that they went to, and they came back, and on the way back, they were all intermixed, talking, interacting with one another. Are we afraid what we might learn from a young person? Are they afraid what they might learn from us, that we have been through life like they have been or are being? And so how do we get there? What are we going to do? Are we willing to sacrifice? Because it takes time. It takes finances. It takes all the gifts and talents that each and every one of us have. And you have a gift. You have something to give each and every one of you. You're never too young, and you're never too old to use that gift for the Lord. You may not be able to do the things you once did, but we can still do something for the Lord. Get on the phone. Hey, learn how to text. That's a thought. Learn how to text and get one of these young people and find out whether they're on Twitter or Cuba or whatever the, I don't know all the social media today. I don't. But find out what they're on and subscribe. Get the app for it on your phone and start tweeting them. Start messaging them on Facebook or whatever. Hey, how's your day going? It's a thought, right? I mean, we talk about the bad things those phones can do. What about the good they can do? This is one good thing it could do. Is get interacting between individuals. I bet this side of the church don't know half of what's going on in this side of the church's life. Maybe one or two individuals you do. But do we know each other well enough to know what to pray for? We need to interact. We need to be loving. We need to be doing the things that God has called us to do. What's that last verse, Randy? Faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Am I in the right place? You know, church, we can have all the faith in the world, knowing that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly more than we can even think or imagine. But if I don't have love, that Scripture tells me I'm as a clanging cymbal. And I like how you said it, Randy. You're making a bunch of noise, but you're just not in tune with what the Spirit's wanting to do in your life. That's not how he said it. That's what I took from him. And so, church, we've got to be living our lives like Christ wants us to live our lives. Our righteousness has to be greater than those who do things just for a religious purpose. Religion will not get you into heaven. Who wants to go to heaven? Come on. That's a question. Who wants to go to heaven? Then let's get things right. Let's get our righteousness greater than just a religion. And let's get on fire for the Lord. We can't have revival in the church until each and every one of us have revival in our hearts. It takes a flame being rekindled in our heart, that ember to be rekindled in our hearts for it to become a flame again for the Lord. And I know I stand here today as a testimony of knowing what it's like for that flame to be kindled, to be weakened and turned into just an ember. The thing is, embers don't last forever. They dissipate. They burn out unless they are rekindled with fresh wind, fresh fire. The lack of commitment and consistency in the lives of, and I'm saying the church as a whole, the church in America. The commitment and consistency has put a cloud over all of us, to where those of us who are serving the Lord and want to reach out and do everything we can, well, you're a part of that congregation down there. I've seen that person from that church do this and that, say this and that. It hurts all of us. Amen? When we say we're from Blennerhassett Church of the Nazarene, we're saying we're a part of the holiness denomination, and that this is the calling of God for our denomination. And our homes, our schools, the businesses, places of work, they need to be a model for what God wants to do in each and every individual life out there. Lord, we thank you this morning for what you mean to us. I don't know, Lord. so hard to hear everything you've heard over a week and a half. Keep it bottled in. I just pray that as it came out this morning, that it was under your direction, and that it landed on hearts that are receptive. And I don't know, Lord, maybe, just maybe, someone this morning would like to rekindle that flame. Maybe someone this morning wants that 9-letter word to be a more part of their life this morning. And just maybe the Holy Spirit has spoken to someone this morning and said, you need to go pray. It may not be anything I talked about. But maybe you need to just come this morning and just give something to the Lord. Maybe you need to just come and let the Lord know that you love Him and that you're willing to do whatever it takes to win the lost to Christ. Maybe one of the 3 names that you'll put on the back of that bookmark today. Maybe you want to just step out and come and pray for them individuals, for those individuals. But I don't think God brought us this direction this morning for naught. So if you're willing to make a commitment, recommit, or even ask the Lord to do something spiritually in your heart this morning, would you be bold enough to just stand up from where you're at right now and come forward and say to the Lord, Lord, here I am. Use me. Use me in whatever manner, whatever way. Help me, Lord, to be the man, the woman that you want me to be. Anyone at all. Lord, go with us as we depart from here. Help us to be obedient. Help us to love as you've called us to do. In Christ's name we pray. And all of God's people say, amen. God bless you. Shake hands with one another. You may be dismissed.